Hello and welcome to 10-Minute Movie Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at Big Trouble in Little China. We'll ask the question, does it still hold up? Well, it's a cult classic, so let's get into it.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
As we always do with these older movies, I'll give you my memories of the film. I remember being into ninja and martial arts movies during this time, so I thought this might be good, and I was not let down. But it wasn't until much later that I truly started to appreciate the movie for the comedy and Kurt Russell in general. It's like old Jack Burton always says, it's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes.
Big Trouble in Little China is one of those movies that you just have to see to believe. It's become a total cult classic and one of the most bizarre, over-the-top action movies ever made. The plot is pretty out there. It follows a truck driver named Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell, who gets caught up in the battle between an ancient Chinese sorcerer and a gang of thugs in San Francisco's Chinatown. There's martial arts, supernatural powers, and a lot of quotable lines. What really makes the movie, though, are the characters. Jack Burton is one of the most inept action heroes you're ever gonna see. He does talk a mean game, though. Wang Chi is the sidekick in the movie and gets Jack into this big trouble. But he's kind of a badass. Together, they go on an adventure to save Wang's fiancée and defeat Lo Pan. Lo Pan is the main baddie, who's an ancient sorcerer who can turn into a floating, glowing demon. Sounds crazy, right? It is, but it's in the best way possible. He also has 3 mystical henchmen called the Three Storms. The action scenes are fun to watch and filled with wire work and what some would call cheesy special effects. Which they are, but it's 1986, people. They're so fun to watch, you just can't help but enjoy them. Alright, let's talk about critics. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 74% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 82% with over 100,000 reviews. RogerEbert.com said, Big Trouble in Little China is a cult classic for a reason. It's a totally crazy, over-the-top, and entertaining ride. If you're a fan of John Carpenter's brand of irreverent humor and wild imagination, you'll definitely enjoy this one. Scott Meslow of The Atlantic said Big Trouble in Little China is a one-of-a-kind movie that defies description. It's a surreal, genre-bending adventure that blends kung fu, fantasy, and humor in a way that's completely unique. Okay, so let me give you a few interesting facts about the movie. Big Trouble in Little China was a box office disappointment upon its release. The role of Jack Burton was offered to both Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson, both of which turned it down. Previous to this, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter had worked on the films Escape from New York and The Thing. The movie features a predominantly Asian cast including Dennis Dun, James Hong, and Victor Wong. It was one of the few Hollywood films of the time to feature so many Asian actors in prominent roles. The special effects were created by Industrial Light and Magic, the same company that was created for Star Wars and worked on the Indiana Jones movies before becoming the most well-known special effects company in Hollywood. And in 2015, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced that he would be producing and starring in a remake of the film. Clearly, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, let's talk about the performances of some of the bigger names in the movie. There's no way for me to wrap my mind around what this movie would have looked like with Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson as Jack Burton, because Kurt Russell absolutely nailed it in every way possible. It is the highlight of the film, delivering one-liners and displaying a comic timing that keeps the movie light and entertaining. He's a somewhat bumbling and naive hero who often finds himself in over his head, but manages to come out on top through sheer luck and bravado. He plays it masterfully. Victor Wong plays Egg Shen, a wise and powerful sorcerer who helps Jack and his friends in their quest to defeat Lo Pan. His performance as Egg is both entertaining and believable, and he perfectly balances the character's sense of humor with his mystical powers. James Hong's performance is one of the most memorable and iconic. Hong plays the role of Lo Pan, a powerful sorcerer who's been cursed to live as a ghost-like entity until he can find a suitable human bride to sacrifice. He's both menacing and humorous, and he effortlessly shifts between them both throughout the movie. Kim Cattrall plays the role of Gracie Law, an annoying but resourceful lawyer who gets tangled up in the film's plot. She's not my favorite character at all, but she plays annoying quite well. Finally, let's talk about John Carpenter. Carpenter is an American filmmaker, screenwriter, and composer. He directed and co-wrote the movie. He also composed the film's score. He has spoken fondly of the film in interviews and has said that it remains one of his personal favorites that he's ever directed. His other credits include films like Halloween, Escape from New York, and They Live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Overall, Big Trouble in Little China is a fun and entertaining movie that doesn't take itself seriously. So, does it still hold up? 100% it does. I found myself smiling through the film as I watched it again after so many years. Its great acting and fun story are what has made this a cult classic. It's so rewatchable, but I'm sure there's many of you that haven't seen it. So if you'd like to check it out, it's streaming for free on Tubi as of this date of this video. It's a fun popcorn movie, so keep that in mind when you check this out. I hope you enjoyed this quick review and let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It really does help the channel. It costs nothing, but you'll be notified of future videos.
You like that one?